Items 17 and 18, which can be heard together. Item 17, UC 210280, use permit for a single-family residential plan unit development. Design reviews for the following: single-family residential plan unit development, finished grade on 563 acres in an RU rural open land zone in the Red Rock Overlay Design District, generally located 3,700 feet north of SR 159, approximately 1.5 miles west of the intersection with SR 160 and SR 159. Item 18, TM 21500083, tentative map consisting of 280 residential lots and common lots on 563 acres.
Okay, is there an applicant here for items 17 and 18? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. My name is Ron Crater, and I am a community planner representing Gypsum Resources. We're before you today presenting to this Commission a tentative tract map and plan unit development application for 80 single-family homes on approximately 564 acres on the land referred to as Blue Diamond Hill. This proposal is consistent with and without waiver to rights and prior approvals. Clark County made representations to the court that Gypsum had a duty to mitigate damages and could proceed with development plan applications under current zoning, RU, rural open lands. These two applications before you today do just that. Additionally, Clark County affirmed that if the development plans were within current zoning thresholds, with no increase in density or intensity, Gypsum is not required to take access from the east connecting to State Route 160. Following the county's assertions, Gypsum immediately prepared a master plan, tentative tract map, and planned unit development application for 464 acres. The application was submitted in February 2021. Following 5 rounds of review with county staff, we have before you today the final application and staff's recommendation for approval. We believe these applications meet or exceed all policies, goals, objectives, and standards within Clark County. The application is of the highest quality. It's class-defining residential community that consists of 280 lots on 564 acres. The gross overall density is at 0.5 units per acre. I am pleased to answer any questions directly related to these two applications. Additionally, I'm joined today by Jerry Slater with Westwood, the civil engineer involved in the project, and he also is willing to answer any and all questions directly related to these two applications. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that completes your presentation. These are public hearing items, so anybody wishing to speak on items 17 and 18, you can come up now. And I can help encourage Pauline, Heather, Sheila, and Michelle. Good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. Can I ask a really quick question, and you can tell me if you can answer it or not? Are you going to be able to vote on this today?
So, Ms. Fisher, it's before us, so I'm assuming that that will happen. So if you could just state and spell your name for the record, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. My statement for the Save Red Rock board. For the record, my name is Heather Fisher, 29 Cerritos Street, Blue Diamond, Nevada. I am the president of Save Red Rock. And on behalf of Save Red Rock, I want to thank the Clark County Commission for the opportunity to comment on this important issue. We are an organization that has a mission to preserve, protect, and enhance the natural, cultural, recreation, and scenic resources in and around the Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area. The topic before you is an important one because it has relevance not only to the mission of Save Red Rock, but to the entire community, as Red Rock Canyon is treasured by all Nevadans and visitors worldwide. You are being asked today to approve a use permit, design review, and tentative map by Gypsum Resources. Save Red Rock is not now and has never been opposed to private citizens developing their private property according to their development rights and within their allowable planning codes. However, what is before you is not ripe for decision because the project does not fit within Clark County Code. Proponents have not proven legal access to the project site or the ability to develop any access to standards described in the application, and not to mention the legal pressures of the timing of the prevailing lawsuit. The proposed subdivision access is currently serving as a mine haul road for Gypsum Resources mining activities. In 2005, this mine haul road right-of-way was relinquished by the James Hardy Mine, and in 2012, the Bureau of Land Management, BLM, accepted the relinquishment. The current owners subsequently appealed that relinquishment decision by BLM, and the case went to the Department of Interior Board of Land Appeals, IBLA, where they sustained the BLM decision. It is unclear if there is any legal access granted for the mine haul road from the BLM. Additionally, given that the proponents have not proven legal access to the project site, it would be a waste of taxpayer money to continue to use staff time and resources to process this application. I am concerned that this application is not ripe for decision. We don't want to waste taxpayer money and time, staff time, on an application that does not comply with Clark County Code. Therefore, I am asking the Commission to deny the application until first, the planning staff has reviewed the applicant's package against the Clark County Red Rock Design Overlay District Code, sections 30.48.280 through 30.48.400. Second, that legal access is proven. Third, that the road traversing Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area can meet standards outlined in the application. And fourth, that the proposed access road meets all safety and fire protection standards. And finally, that the applicant can prove the ability to bring necessary utilities and water, et cetera, to the property. I thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Next speaker, please. Give him 1 second. There you go.
Let's need to wipe it down, so I'll follow the directions of wiping. Good morning, Madam Chair and the Board of Clark County Commissioners. My name is Pauline Van Betten, and I reside at 17 Matarongo Street. I've been working to protect Red Rock.
Can I get you to spell your last name for us?
Van Betten, that's V as in Victor, A-N, B as in boy, E, T as in Tom, T-E-N. I've been working to protect Red Rock Canyon for 20 years, and there have been many chapters. In 2001, when a massive housing subdivision was proposed for the heart of Red Rock Canyon, there was a major public outcry. Clark County responded by creating a task force to address these concerns, and I was appointed as a member of that task force. This task force created the Red Rock Overlay. Subsequently, the applicant Gypsum Resources took legal action against SB 358 and the Red Rock Design Overlay. In 2010, the county entered into a settlement agreement with Gypsum Resources. There were two major components to the agreement. Gypsum Resources would be allowed to submit a major project application on his property in an exception area to the Red Rock Overlay. In return, the applicant could not have primary access to the major project from Scenic Byway 159, which runs through Red Rock Canyon. I'll leave this document with you that has all the dates and the quotes. However, this application before you today is not a major project application, and therefore these rules do not apply. So the applicant is requesting primary access from Scenic Byway 159. And since this is not a major project, it is not exempt from Red Rock Overlay. In the settlement agreement, major project options for the Red Rock Overlay. Why is that important? There are two primary areas of concern with the application as it relates to the Red Rock Overlay. Clustering. In section 30-48-21, clustered development shall only be considered in conjunction with approved major project. This is a clustering project. This is a planned unit development, and it requires clustering. And yet the Red Rock Overlay says clustering is not allowed unless it's a major project. Second of concern is the building envelope. In section 30-48-320, each lot shall contain a building envelope surrounded by a natural area. The building envelope delineates the maximum area in which any proposed building may be erected. The building envelope shall be located in the center of the lot, and in no case shall it be located closer than 25 feet from the property line. This application proposes a minimum lot size of 7,041 square feet with setbacks of 20 feet from the front, 5 feet from the side, 10 feet from the corner, and 20 feet from the rear. None of these setbacks meet the requirements of the Red Rock Overlay Natural Area and Building Envelope, and this application is not exempt from the Red Rock Overlay. This application does not meet Title 30 code, and it must be denied. Thank you. May I leave these documents with you that cite this
Yep.
code?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next speaker, please. If I could get everybody to state and spell their name, I'd like to help the clerk.
Madam Chair and members of the Clark County Commission, my name is Sheila Billingsley. Billingsley is spelled Bilingsley. To you, to the Board of County Commissioners agenda sheet, specifically Public Works Development Review and the analysis of current planning. In the documents generated by staff, these departments specifically express the need to demonstrate paved legal access and the ability to provide utilities to a planned unit development. As Ms. Fisher told us earlier, Gypsum Resources lost the right-of-way to the Mine Hall Road that was in place before the enabling legislation of the Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area in 1990. Before 1990, it was still the Wild West out there, and pretty much anything goes attitude prevailed. After November 16th, 1990, that all changed. The enabling legislation of the NCA is very specific on what can and can't happen. It is my understanding in this governing legislation, it is very specific that no new right-of-ways would be issued. Furthermore, no new roads may be constructed, no easements for utilities granted, and no approval to enhance or pave existing roads shall happen within the NCA unless in some way said improvements enhance the NCA. Public Works, in their review of this planned unit development, specifically requested this matter of paved legal access be demonstrated. Under analysis, current planning expressed strong concerns for the procurement of utilities, water, sewer, gas, electric, and garbage to the future residences. This issue of access and the need for utilities and the major hurdles these propose is not new, and it seems troublesome that the applicant today did not resolve these issues or informed us of the path in which they seek these resolutions. Approving this application today is a waste of taxpayer dollars and county employee time. There are multiple enormous obstacles that need to be addressed before a planned unit development can even be considered. I would ask that this body deny the application until the applicant can generate this information as requested by your staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. My name is Michelle St. Angelo. That's ST.ANGELO. I reside at 3 Allegro Street in Blue Diamond Village, which is just outside of the Red Rock Canyon National Recreation Area and only a few miles from the proposed development. I serve as volunteer chairwoman of the Cottonwood Springs Water Stewards, which is a committee of Save Red Rock focused on the conservation of water. For those who are unaware, the Blue Diamond Village water system is comprised of 2 wells, tapping a rare natural aquifer, which is recharged by precipitation and snowmelt runoff in the spring mountains. Severe drought conditions find this system significantly taxed, even requiring a lowering of the well pump back in 2008. Today, our well levels are the lowest in the last 4 years. In fact, we've lost 5 feet of water level in just this year, with no rejuvenation in sight. The issue is so dire that in December, the Las Vegas Valley Water District issued a moratorium on new water commitments for this source, and that moratorium is still in place today. Frankly, the addition of 280 homes to the area, no matter the zoning, seems impossible given the moratorium, not to mention the impending water shortage in Nevada. Just recently, the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation stated that by next year, a federally declared water shortage is expected for the Colorado River. This means that Nevada will be forced to reduce its water use, something that warrants a halt in new residential development. Where would we get the water to serve 280 additional families, not to mention a visioned golf course, from a drought-ravaged well? Or, if the plan is to use city water, how would we conceivably and responsibly pipe into the most ecologically significant land in our county from an overcommitted state source? As you consider this development proposal, my request is that proper surveying and research be done to protect the existing water commitments on both the Blue Diamond and the Las Vegas Valley water systems. Moving ahead with approvals of new housing in a time when basic utilities are not guaranteed could lead to an environmental and public health disaster. Please don't risk the lives of all who currently depend on this stressed water supply. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next speaker.
Good morning, Commissioners, and thank you for your service. My name is Barbara Luke, L-U-K-E. I live at 16 Bojangles Way in Blue Diamond. I'm currently the chair of the Red Rock Citizens Advisory Council, but I'm speaking today as a private individual. Well, based on what you've already heard from the public comments, I hope that you're not going to vote on this today. But I do want to make my own 2 comments, which are, first of all, if you do decide to plan seriously and consider the grading plan for quote-unquote reclamation of the mine, please think about other potential uses for this site. We know that this site has gone through many different plans and iterations, and there may be more coming in the future. We know that the owner has tried to negotiate with the federal government for a land swap, and I believe that the best eventual use for this land would be a solar power site. So when you're thinking about the grading requests that they've made, please consider other possible uses for the site. My bigger concern is one that you've already heard, which is site access. The issue of site access needs to be resolved with the BLM before the Commission gets into the sorts of details that they're being asked to consider today. I don't agree with the current plan to have the access on the Mine Haul Road that's currently used as the Mine Haul Road. This would bring a new public road into our National Conservation Area, and of course it would also add traffic to our existing major road going through there, which is also a state scenic byway. I do agree with a previous I guess it was a directive from this commission that access be to the east. I understand that that's not a requirement if they've changed to change the plan to what they have now, but I still believe that should be held to by your commission. And ideally, the very best access solution would be a direct connection to the 215. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. My name is Kevin McGinn, spelled M-C-G-I-N-N. I live at 22 Cerrito in Blue Diamond Village. I'm here on behalf of the Blue Diamond Volunteer Fire Department. I am the chief of Station 80 Rural Division. There's 11 volunteer fire stations in Clark County. I happen to be at Blue Diamond. I'm the chief there, and my question is, what happens with me getting my fire truck up that road? I don't have a prepared statement, but I have tried to drive a fire truck up that road. It's not happening. It's not happening. It takes me about 8 minutes to get from my station to the top of the mine in my squad on a rescue call. So someone needs to tell me these 280 homes, is there a fire station plan there? Because the closest paid station is a long ways away, and I'm a volunteer station. I just got a call now that's not going to be ran. It's a volunteer station, so these 280 homes, do these people know they're buying a house that the closest significant chance of putting out fire or helping their loved ones in a medical call is a long ways away at best? So I don't know what their plan is, but I know it didn't involve looking at how to get a fire truck up there or a paramedic up there to do medical calls.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Chief. Appreciate that. Okay, next speaker, please.
John Hyatt, 8180 Placid Street, Las Vegas. There are lots of legal issues here. There are infrastructure issues, and this parcel, as you know, parcels have a very long history here of difficulties, and I think it's entirely inappropriate to approve this development in this location at this time. So at a minimum, it needs to be held. What I would prefer to see is it be denied. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Madam Chair and the members of the Clark County Commission, for the record, my name is Valerie Kuschel, Kuschel, and I live at 9874 November Rain Street. Communications Director for Save Red Rock, a nonprofit organization celebrating its 20th year of preserving, protecting, and enhancing the natural, cultural, recreational, and scenic resources in and around Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area. As the Communications Director, I actively engage with our community members on a daily basis. We are proud to have over 44,000 supporters, including paid supporters and social media followers. Since learning about this agenda item, our members have raised their concerns, sending over 600 emails urging the Commission to keep Red Rock rural and preserve the unique experience that the canyon offers for Southern Nevadans. As a born and raised Las Vegas local, I can attest that Red Rock Canyon is a treasure held dear to Southern Nevadans and visitors from all over the world. As a child, I was brought there by my parents to observe endangered species like the desert tortoise. As a teenager, I would hike there after school, enjoying unparalleled views. And now, as a student of the UNLV Boyd School of Law, I travel to the serene canyon to escape the realities that await me in the valley. And my story is not unique. Save Red Rock has persevered for 2 decades because of our members, that they share my admiration for the canyon. And that is why, on behalf of our supporters, I am urging every commissioner to deny Gypsum Resources use permit today. Save Red Rock is not opposed to private citizens developing their private property within allowable planning codes. However, Gypsum Resources has not proven legal access to the project site. Similarly, the proposal does not account for the Red Rock Design Overlay District. With the canyon being such a precious visual and recreational resource for Southern Nevadans, the Commission should deny or hold the permit until all information is available and the request is in compliance with the law. I thank you for your time and feel confident you will make the right decision for your constituents.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on items 17 or 18? Seeing none. Oh, are you coming down, sir? Did you want to speak? Nope. Seeing no one else that wants to speak under public comment, I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment. Ask the applicant to come back to maybe address some of those concerns.
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, I'd be willing to answer any questions directly related to the tentative track map application and the planned unit development application before you today.
You want to address any of the concerns from the audience, or you want specific?
Well, I heard many concerns. I'm not exactly sure, Madam Chair, which concerns you would like me to answer.
Okay, how about Rob? I'm going to ask if you'll help me address some of the concerns.
Right. One of the concerns was whether this is properly before the board, and it is properly before the board. It's ripe for decision. There's no gag order or injunction from a court. They filed an application, and it's properly before you to consider. As far as the road is concerned, the settlement agreement only applies to major projects for increased density. And of course, it's not a major project, and it's not seeking increased density. The density satisfies the density standard for the RU zoning district. They have to provide paved legal access before the final map records, because if the map records and there's a lot available for sale, it has to have a road to it. So that applies before the final map records, but they don't have to provide paved legal access at this point of the application process. Any other questions?
So I'm concerned about the fire. I know how hard it is with volunteer fire departments. It does say that they'll have to comply with emergency access with the fire code, so that assumes that our code says it has to be paid, to have proper access to get there.
Right. They'll have to do a traffic study in compliance and provide paved legal access. So it won't be the existing mine haul road that will be there servicing this property. It would be a different road that complies with the traffic study, and it would be a paved legal access to the property.
And so let me, and I don't know and maybe the right person isn't here for me to ask on the volunteer fire department. Is that one that falls under Clark County's rule? They're not separate like Moapa, right?
No, the condition is put in by fire prevention, building and fire prevention. However, there are standards, and I can let Antonia jump in, but there are standards that the county has for the roadways for paving, for width, for grade, all of that sort of thing. And they would have to, as noted, they would have to demonstrate paved legal access, and paved legal access would have to comply with our standards. They'd also have to comply with, they'd have to get the paved legal access from BLM, and they would have to get NDOT approval to be able to access 159.
Okay. Antonio, anything?
I think Nancy covered it. They will have to get a grant, and they will have to get concurrence from NDOT, since 159 is an NDOT highway. Our minimum access requirements are 32 feet. It has to be paved because they are in the non-attainment PM10 area, so they will have to comply, and fire should not have an issue getting to that parcel.
Okay, I just have one more question, and so I'm trying to wear my water authority hat and my health district hat. So we are not at the health district, and at least at the water authority, not approving any septic systems, neighborhoods whatsoever, because we're trying to stay on top of that. So they would have to comply with all of the full utilities needed, correct?
Well, if that's a health district regulation, then they'll have to comply with the health district regulations that apply at the time that the final map records.
Okay, yeah, we're just, at the health district, we've not been approving any more septics just because of the nitrates and the nitrate packages. So, okay. Commissioners, anybody else have questions? Commissioner Gibson?
Thank you. I guess to Public Works, what is the nearest source of water that would serve this number of homes?
Oh, I might need help with Rob. I want to say it's close to Wallapai, Blue Diamond and Wallapai.
Yes, that's my understanding. I think it's Blue Diamond and Wallapai area.
Miles.
Yes.
It's miles away.
Right.
And is there, so are there public roads and streets all the way from that source of water that would enable service right to the neighborhood? Or are there, the easements we're talking about, are they across BLM property? And have they been applied for? And has the BLM expressed any intent with respect to those easements?
Well, first,
sorry, go ahead, Rob.
well, from Wallapai, there's the state highways, first of all, to get to that property. And then after this, if it's approved, and after this application, then it would be incumbent upon the applicant to contact BLM and obtain whatever easements or right-of-ways required by the BLM to be able to provide those utilities to the property. Now, whether they have began that process or not, I don't know. They're probably waiting to see whether or not this tentative map is, this application is approved.
Well, that is a question I'd like the applicant to respond to. Is that an application that's been filed with the BLM? Have you done anything in respect of the provision of utility services to the
The applicant currently has on file with the BLM a right-of-way application for a roadway proposed coming from the easterly direction connecting to State Route 160 for this specific application, as Rob pointed out, we would file a new application for right-of-way grant, providing access for vehicular traffic as well as infrastructure across BLM properties connecting to this applicant's property.
And all of that would be directed to 159, State Road 159 as opposed to 160. Is that the plan?
That is the plan for this application. That is correct.
Anybody else have any comments or questions? Seeing none. Okay. So I guess I'd entertain a motion to follow staff's recommendations. If there's no more questions, Commissioner Jones.
Madam Chair, I need to make a disclosure. In January 2019, after taking office, I requested an advisory opinion from the Nevada Ethics Commission regarding whether I was precluded from voting on zoning matters involving the applicant Gypsum Resources, LLC, given my prior pro bono legal representation of Save Red Rock in litigation brought by Clark County concerning a prior major projects application. Based upon the information that I provided to the Ethics Commission regarding my prior representation of Save Red Rock, the Ethics Commission opined that I should comply with the disclosure requirements of NRS 281A.421D for a period of 1 year, but that abstention was not required. To the contrary, the Ethics Commission emphasized that under NRS 281A.424, there is an express legal presumption against abstention, and that abstention would divest my constituents in District F of my vote on matters of importance to them. Although more than 2.5 years has passed since the Ethics Commission's opinion, and all the present gypsum zoning applications were not brought onto the major projects process that was the subject of my prior representation of Save Red Rock, I am nevertheless hereby disclosing that I previously represented Save Red Rock in matters relating to gypsum's major projects application, including in litigation brought by Clark County, in which gypsum was named a party and which was dismissed by all parties in November 2018. In 2019, gypsum filed a lawsuit against Clark County in which gypsum makes allegations of impropriety against me, including that I have shown personal animus towards Mr. Jim Rhodes, as evidenced by, amongst other things, a tongue-in-cheek social media post from October 31st, 2018, and that I failed to disclose all relevant information to the Ethics Commission. Given that the Ethics Commission opinion principally related to gypsum's major projects applications, including prior requested waivers and the intervening lawsuit, I would like to hear the District Attorney's position as to whether I'm required to abstain from voting on agenda items 17 and 18.
Okay, Rob.
It's the District Attorney's opinion that you may vote on this and that you do not need to abstain on these applications.
Thank you, Mr. Warhola.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Can I just clarify, because I don't remember if I asked it, this is no increased density, this is what it's zoned for currently, right?
That's correct.
And what is that, one
It's
unit?
RU zoning, which is a 1 unit per every 2 acres.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Forgot if I asked it. Okay, Commissioner Sagerblum?
Yes, I'm going to vote in favor of this just because it's my understanding that they comply with the zoning, but it sounds to me like there's so many issues going forward that are not really addressed at this point that I don't see how they could ever do it, water and everything else, but very basic concept of the land use matches what they've asked for, then I think at this point we have to vote in favor.
Okay, Commissioner Miller.
I don't know if Commissioner Jones intends to vote on this and follow the district attorney's recommendation. It sounds like maybe he will, but it's obviously his district. We're going to do some redistricting, and my district is adjacent to that. I'm more than happy to make the motion for approval in the absence of Mr. Jones not making a motion.
Okay, go ahead. Red Rock's important to everybody, so go ahead, Commissioner Miller.
Sure. I'll move for approval as outlined in staff report.
Okay, Commissioner Miller has made a motion for approval. Any further discussion?
I have one other question.
Yep.
Of our lawyer. We recognize that there is pending litigation. There's been a concern expressed by some that there could be or there are issues proceeding with this application and taking action on it. please respond to that.
Right, there's no gag order from the court, there's no injunction. The matter being litigated is completely different. It has to do with a major project application and the timing of a right-of-way that fell under the settlement agreement to the east, which is to 160. None of those issues are currently before you. The issue here is completely different. This has to do with their existing RU zoning. They're proposing access from a different location. They comply with the zoning and all the requirements. It's just not an issue that's before the court. Like I said, it's an application that's before you. And there, like I said, there's no gag order, no injunction, nothing, no order from the court that prohibits us from considering this matter. So it's properly before you.
Thank you.
I'll bring up, I guess that's one issue that was raised, the Red Rock Overlay District. It's our position that the Red Rock Overlay District, the purpose of that is to preserve the natural setting. And certainly that's not the case here, because this is clearly almost or all of the property is a mining property. It's been mined or will be mined. And so really there's no natural setting to preserve. So it's our position, my office's position, the district attorney's office's position, that the Red Rock Overlay District does not apply to these applications. And that's our opinion. That issue is really not before you. That's really our opinion on it. We've researched the issue and we believe it's not, doesn't really apply to this property because it's been mined, the property has been mined. There's no natural setting to preserve. But that's our position on the matter.
So I guess, will they have to come back before us if they make any substantial changes, they would have to come back and start over, correct?
Right. If the tentative map, the proposed application has significant changes, then they'll have to come back and submit another application.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Miller. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. And that motion passes. Next item, please.